Hi all, this is Dr. J at 11 coming to you from rainy, icky, yucky, yucky Long Island, New York. Or I should say streaming live from Long Island, New York. For all of you who are expecting that exaggerated island, Long Island. In any event, it's been a kind of a slow day for Dr. J, a prosperous day, but a slow day in that, everything is going the way I expect it to be going. And that makes almost for boring day on the street. I'm not complaining, I'm making money. Just about all of my biotechs in my portfolio are up today and up nicely. And I hope that some of them you've picked up along the way. I know that if you're following me, then you're probably in at least one of them. I'm also concentrating on Apple these days. I've suggested a trade, a swing trade on Apple that's doing very nicely for any of you who may have followed me on that. I want to get some housekeeping out of the way. That is, do your own due diligence. Follow me at your own risk. You should consult with an investment advisor and fact check everything I say because it may or may not be accurate. My opinions are my own. I told you that all along. I have a unique way of looking at things sometimes different than a lot of other people. That makes me both interesting and different. Not necessarily right, however, sometimes right. Let's take a look at the video charts without further delay. We're going to concentrate a little bit on gern and athxs. Gern has been a hot stock, a trending stock. Athxs woke up today, woke up from a deep sleep that lasted several months. So I was glad to see that. Okay, let's go to the video charts. I see that we have 4 viewers live. Good to see you. If you want to write comments, by all means, I will, if I see them, I will address them, read them. Okay, so let's go to the video tapes. Let's see here. Go here to gern. Always at home with gern, so I tend to gravitate to gern first. Gern is a stock I've been in forever. It seems like forever, at least since 2000, I've been in and out of gern. I've suffered through the trials and tribulations of big rallies, only to see it fizzle. I told you I ran it up. I had it in the low, not the high single digits, and ran it up into the 70s, and then only to watch it come right back down to the single digits. But I did manage to sell off along the way down. I didn't have perfect timing, but you cannot have perfect timing. And that's what some people are trying to do now, have perfect timing. There are people that are trying to get out with a portion of their position only to get back in cheaper and play that kind of game. And if you can do that and get away with it, by all means, do it. So, I mean, what do we expect until the continuation decision or a buyout? Well, I guess we expect more of the same, trading within the channel. It did trade slightly above the channel on 9/13. It hit a high of 6.99, and I suppose that's certainly possible again. Even within the channel, it could go to $7 a share by the end of the week. So if it hits the upper end of the channel, we'll see $7 a share or more by the time of the continuation decision. So that is possible, but it doesn't really matter because it only depends, the future of Geron only depends on a continuation decision. And how much money we make, unless we're traders, it depends on the continuation decision or possible buyout. So I'm not that enthusiastic or disappointed one way or the other with respect to the movement of Geron stock over the last few weeks. It's confined to the channel, which I expected, and I expect more of the same. So here's hoping to good things. Another day has come and passed without news with respect to the CD. So we're being slowly tortured, I guess. I'm not at this point. I'm resigned to my fate, whatever it is. So my nervousness is gone. Those butterflies in my stomach seem to have gone away. I'm feeling more optimistic, and maybe that's why. Some of you on StockTwits have echoed my sentiment that time is on our side, and going down to the wire for a decision favors a positive decision. I believe that's true. So I agree with those posters. Let's go to the next stock that I'm very, very enthusiastic about, athxs. Athxs actually broke out today from its 3 or 4 months. Let's see, how long has it been in this trading range? Since the middle of June. So that's July, August, September. Over 3 months, it's been in the trading range between $1.85 and $2.10. Today it closed at $2.16, and after hours added on 4 more pennies. So athxs made a tremendous move. If we get confirmation of that move tomorrow, then I believe we will be taking out the June 7th high of 309. So this is a very, very significant breakout here. I believe that it could be indicative of athxs and Helios KK finally coming to terms on an expansion of their partnership arrangement to extend to China and maybe other uses. So I think this is a biggie. I think this is a significant breakout, and I'm happy that I have the number of shares that I have. And I'm eagerly looking forward to making a lot of money on athxs. I think Gil Van Brocklin, I call him GVB, the CEO of athxs, is a genius. He's an extremely bright man, and he's driven. Put the two together, and you have a dynamic person at the helm. He's one of all the CEOs of the companies I own, I am most enamored with this man. I think he's a visionary. I told you several times he has a vision of athxs becoming the next Celgene. I don't even know if he remembers saying that, but I sure do. In fact, I'd love to have him on with me. I think I'll call Cleveland and invite him. Let's take a look at adxs. adxs is a stock that collapsed after its last offering at $1.20, recent offering. It went into the 80s and traded as low as 77.5 cents. I told you I've been adding almost every day to average in and try to catch that falling knife without hurting my hands. So far, I haven't cut myself. I mean, it is a dangerous proposition. It could start to make new lows below the 77.50, but the chart is holding up. It's sort of following the trend line that I drew. So we'll see what happens. I think today's action was not bad. It was lower than 90 cents, came back. So it's not quite a hammer, but almost. And after hours is up. I don't know if that's meaningful. I don't know what the volume is after hours, but I'd rather up than down. So I'm not disappointed with adxs. I don't really care what it does that much as long as I have time to accumulate. And I said I'm averaging in slowly. Actinium, I already have a significant position here. I want it to be even more significant. I have a lot of faith in this New York-based company, which is a spin-off of Sloan Kettering, which is the prominent cancer hospital in Manhattan. So what's the story? I said yesterday that today would be significant. It'll give us a hint. Is it going to continue to follow the ascending channel that it was in, or is it going to follow the lower trend line that it's been carving out? Well, today was the first step in that answer, and it was positive. It looks like it may very well be continuing its ascent up to the 80s and challenging the 85 level. 85 pennies, which had made a high on 7/16, is a double top. If you go back to October, you'll see another 85 cents. October of 17. There it is. Let's see what date that is. That is 10/25/17. So we have a double top. You know about double tops. I don't like double tops. I find them to be formidable resistance. However, should we get past that 85 cents, and I am optimistic that we will, then I think we're going to go almost straight up another 30, 40, 50 cents. So I see this going into the as high as 130 perhaps, especially if we get any kind of positive news on A or B. And don't ask me which one is IMAB and which one is Actimab or whatever they are. They're good. They pre-treat the bone marrow, readying the bone marrow. They pre-treat a person for a bone marrow transplant, and it makes them receptive to the transplanted cells as opposed to vicious chemotherapy, and it probably has a better success likelihood than chemotherapy. So I don't fully understand the compounds, and I haven't really looked into it that much. I have so many of these little biotechs that it's very difficult for me to really become super knowledgeable of the biologics or whatever the term is. I'm a mathematician, not a medical doctor. So, I don't often take that strong an interest in how it works, just that it works. And I believe this works. I believe there's good drugs. I know there's an unmet need. It's going to treat leukemias like AML, which I know there's an unmet need for. So this is a very interesting stock. I think considering all it has going for it, it looks like a bargain to me. That's why I'm in it. For the fundamentals as well as a terrific looking chart. Oncosec Medical. Oncosec Medical. Okay, what's the story here? The old CEO of adxs came over to take the helm of this company. And since he's come over, I think he's done some pretty good things. He's been very visible. And I think Dan O'Connor is a very capable man who can guide ONCS in its future negotiations with Merck should the Pisces trial continue to show excellent data. So Pisces is collaboration with Merck, and it has to do with Keytruda, Merck's anti-PD-1 inhibitor. I'm probably saying that wrong as well. It's an immunotherapy drug. And athx's drug is also an immunotherapy drug. But by administering this first, let me see if I have this straight. By administering the athx drug, Oncosec medical drug first, it will make more people receptive to Keytruda than if they did not receive this drug. So it makes uh, so that the Keytruda can treat a much greater population, and the drug is being tested in for melanoma. So it works kind of intratumoral, which means that they can inject it at the site of one tumor, and it'll have a positive effect on adjacent tumors or near other tumors, other malignancies. So my attempt to explain the science on these drugs is probably not the greatest, but at least I'll give you an idea. And if you want to read up more about it, by all means do so, especially if you have a medical background. Okay, those are my most interesting biotechs of the day. I also find CVM to be very interesting. We spoke about that yesterday. I'll speak about it again in the future. aapl. Okay, aapl is a stock that I recommended a trade on just here on the 21st of September. And I said to buy at the open, which would be the 24th. Well, on the 24th, the open was 216.82. It closed today at 222.19. That would be a 6-point move from 216, or about a third of 30.3%, or a third of 1%, something like that. I'm recommending, if you got in the trade as I suggested, that you hold until either it hits this trend line up around, let's say, 225 area, or it comes back down to the lower trend line, in which case you close your trade. And if it takes days to do that, you're still going to make money. So, because this is an ascending trend line, as is this one. So they're both ascending trend lines. This is not a bad strategy to take. If you want to go even further, you could say, all right, I'll set a mental stop along the lower trend line and not sell until the RSI reaches oversold territory. You could do that. Or you could say, I won't sell until until it reaches the lower trend line, and let that take me out of the trade. Maybe it will never reach the lower trend line. Once it goes above the upper trend line, then that could become your moving stop. So there's a lot of possibilities here. If you've made that for a trade, I think you're in very good shape. And if you bought it then just to hold, I think you're also in very good shape. aapl is a tremendous stock with a lot of momo, a lot of reasons for it to go up in the Christmas season. So I went through half a dozen stocks with you today. I hope that you enjoyed my fumbling around trying to explain scientific reasons for being in these companies when I don't really totally understand the scientific reasons behind why these drugs are so phenomenal like they're supposed to be. I do kind of understand telomerase pretty well, the Geron drug, the imetelstat, which is a telomerase inhibitor, I'm sorry. And also I sort of understand multistem, which is the athxs product being tested in Japan for ischemic stroke. I guess I have the best understanding of those two drugs. Although, again, I'm not a doctor and I don't understand it in the same way that a research physician would. I'm sure the typical physician doesn't understand it much better than me. In any event, it's been a pleasure seeing you. I don't know why the screen is jumping around. Let's stay screen so I could say goodbye to everybody. I could say, please subscribe to my channel. I could say, like us. I could say, write comments so I can reply to comments. I love to reply to your comments. I think I reply to every comment. I promise I'll reply to every comment. If you write it, I reply, even if it's no more than a thumbs up, if I agree with you. What else? I don't know. Share the link with everybody that you know, so other people can get the benefits of my wisdom, so to speak. Being not exactly being humble by saying that, but hey, being humble doesn't buy you too much, right? In any event, shalom, sayonara, hasta luego, goodbye, ciao, see you tomorrow. Maybe we'll have news on Geron.